So then, been called out to a little job for a mate of mine. Yes, it's been a while since we've had a mate on. We've got one. It's a guy I used to cycle with years ago, believe it or not. I used to do a little bit of cycling, and he's recently sold his house. He's moving up north, sold his house. He's getting handed over Friday. He rung me over the weekend and said, Mark, I've got an issue with the stop tap, it's dripping. Can you come and sort it out? I said, yeah, I'll swing around first thing Monday, we'll have a look at it and get it sorted out for you. Now, he's a really practical guy, and this is what I like about some people. They won't just let a stop tap just drip under the kitchen or drip into a cupboard and just rot everything away. He's gone out of his way, ain't you, Barry? Dead practical.
I want it, mate. I want it.
You're gonna love this one. Stop tap's coming up in a boxing, and it's dripping out quite a bit. He wasn't sure where to turn it off, and he's just been telling me he set his alarm at like 2-hour intervals during the night to come and empty a tub out, and went, it's got to be an easier way of doing it. So we're dripping out of here. You can see how quick it's coming out. So what Barry's done is used, what was that from, a George Foreman? George Foreman grill, popped a hole in the end of it here, old shoe on here, out into the garden, and then running down into the drain. I was quite disappointed he hadn't got it from there directly into the drain, but I let him off with that. So yeah, what we've got is, it's the old bitumen pipework coming in into that old stop tap. Baz has had to go over the wire to try and sort it, but it's, as you can see, knackered. So what we're going to do is shut it off out in the street. Luckily, they've just put meters in the last 6 months or so, put meters in, so it just turns off easy enough out in the street. We'll go and do that, get the water off, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with the old knackered stop tap. So as I said, luckily they changed these, I think 6 months or so ago, out into the street, because this area, it's on a little estate down near me, and what they did have was the old brass stop taps. So council have been out, cut them all out and put these ones in, and they're perfect. Just that blue tap at the bottom. Simple as that. So we've got the water off. We'll pop that back in so no one falls down the hole. We'll go in and I'll show you exactly how we're going to sort it. Right, we've got the water off. Let's take these out of the way. And you can see it's the old black bitumen pipe there. So what I'm going to do is drain the water down upstairs, make sure we've got hardly any water left in the pipe, cut the copper here, and then I'm going to cut as high as we can to the bottom of the stop tap there. What I'll do, I take this down to Plum Base, literally 2 miles down the road, and match up exactly the right one, because I do know they do a few different stop tap sizes onto this bitumen stuff. So yeah, we'll go and swap that out. So first off, we'll get it cut, get this cut out, and see where we're at. So there we go, cut the stop tap out, and what we'll do is go and get another one to either go on there, or the worst case scenario is we can put an adapter from that to copper, then we can put a 50mm stop tap in, and then connect straight back on to our copper there. So let's go and see what we can get for that. Been and picked up a 22mm stop tap. So pop down, picked a 22mm stop tap up from Plum Base. So we've got that in. They didn't have a 15 end one, so what we're going to do is just put a 22 to 15 reducer in the end there, press fit that reducer on there, stick a coupler on there, press it on there, and then job done. That was the original one we took out. It was leaking out there, as you'd have seen, but once that's in, we get the water back on and all sorted.
Seriously, what have you done now? Is that it?
That's it. Just put a coupler there, out there. There you go. Do your tap off? Is the tap off on the thing?
Oh, you've done it now, haven't you?
There we go. Job done. Open up the cold barrel, we should be back on.
Oh.
Sorted. There we go. Job done.
Absolutely mental.
Right then, we are back at this house renovation. It's been probably about 3 or 4 weeks since I've been here. our progress has shifted on. So I'll take you in, show you exactly how much it's changed. So all the plastering's done, or majority of the plastering's done. We've got walls up, we've got rooms been formed. It's a little coat room downstairs, so we've got to sort that out next week. In here, all the ceilings are up now. If you remember, we had all the pipe work up here that we got tested probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. So now plasterers have been in, skimming the ceilings, electricians are getting 1,000,001 lights in everywhere. But yeah, it's coming together. It's getting there, Stewie, isn't it? So I've been here for the last day or so, just sort of cracking on a little bit, and we've started to first fix one of the bathrooms in here. As you can see, we've put a panelling around the outside, boxing around the outside to cover everything in, and then we've just got onto the existing pipes down here. We've got plastic around the back of there to get it around the stack and whatnot. Pipe working for the basin, but what we've got to do today is get the pipe work in from the hot and cold feeds here to where they're having a mixer tap set inside the wall there. Obviously this freestanding bath's going to be pushed into that area there, but we've got to get the tap central. So I've marked exactly where the middle of it is going to be. I've marked the height where we want the tap. So what I've got to do is try and mount it, and we're going to have to make sure it's set out far enough from the wall to allow for the tiling, the boarding and all stuff like that. So that's today's little project. Let's get that done. Right then, we've got our hot and colds coming up here, and this point here is where we're going to be mounting this mixer tap. So it's going to sit, it's just spinning because I haven't tightened it up yet. We're going to mount it there. It's going to sit central to that line and central to that horizontal line, and then that spout will obviously sit over the rim of the bath. But because this is going to be boarded and tiled, we've got to bring the body of that out far enough to allow for the tiles and the plasterboard. So what I've done is, let me move that out of the way. What I've done is marked on the floor here. So we're going to have a 12mm moisture board, and then we're going to have 6-7mm tile with adhesive. It's going to be about 20mm from the actual point here to the front face of the board. So if I mount, so if I place this is the shroud that's going to be sat on the front of the tile when it's all done. If I mark the floor there where it's going to be and hold that there, we know now that the gap from that back wall to the back of this valve here is what we've got to span. So we've got to span that gap there, and then we can bolt that unit straight onto the front of whatever we've got on the wall here. So I'm going to go see what we can find, get something made up there, get it screwed to the wall, fix this into place, and then we can connect it up with our hot and colds. And then it will be mounted, keep spinning, that'll be mounted roughly about there. See in a bit, Stu? That'll be roughly mounted about there for them to board and tile. Right, there we go. Got that mounted now on here. 2 bits of 1.5" timber has brought it out exactly where we need it. So just show you, the proper level on there. So the back of the level will give us the back of the wall, and obviously the front of the plate here is where we've got to be. I don't know if you can make that out. It's 20mm. 20mm from the back to the back of the plate. There is a little bit of movement in them plates. You can pull them forward slightly, but I like to always try and get them back as far as possible. It just makes it look, for me, a little bit nicer. So what we'll do now, we will get these fittings off, he says, as it's quite tight. There we go. As you've seen, that one's the spout. That one's just blanking off. Now, I assume, looking at that, there is a way of making that into maybe a filler for a shower or something, but on this one, this is just to hold the shower head. So obviously the tap's on that one, and we'll pull the plate off. Now, interestingly, it doesn't show which is hot or cold on here, so I'm going to see if I can work it out. Shouldn't be too hard. We'll pop that off, just have a little bit of a fiddle around, maybe blow down it, get a bit of pipe in there, blow down it, work out what's what. So then we can just connect copper off there, run it along there, and connect onto our hot and colds down there. So I've just worked out which is hot and cold on this. Hot's on the left, cold's underneath. Well, you'd probably say on the right, but I wanted to double check and make sure. So I just put a bit of pipe into there and then turned this valve to that setting. So in theory, if you've got hot and cold on that paddle, turn it that way to cold, into the bottom there, bit of pipe, blow through it, and it's coming through here, so we know that that's that. Now, I looked inside the box to try and find that paddle that will clip on the front of there, and it's not in the box. I have opened this box this morning, so I know full well it's not been lost anywhere, but we'll have to address that. The customer bought these, they've had them in storage for ages and ages. Could be anywhere. That's the valve mounted now, connected up. We do use press fit on this one just because I had the press fit gun up here anyway from doing some other bits over there. Someone said to me the other week after the press fit, the video when I used the press fit tool and it jammed shut, so I had to find out exactly what was up with it, and it's that little release button on the side. Someone said, oh, that's it, you're done with solder now, all you do is press fit. When it's easier to do it, I will. When it's easier to just chuck them press fittings on that bit of pipe there because all the stuff was up here, it was just easier to do it that way. So, no, I will still solder stuff as and when needed. I'll use press fit, I'll use plastic, because that's what it's like. Sometimes you use what you've got to hand or what's spec'd for the job, like this one. The whole first fix was spec'd in plastic, and then, you know, where you see it or where it's going to be easy enough to do in copper, I'll do it in copper. So what I've got to do now is just pop an elbow on the waste pipe, bring that up out the floor, because the tile is going to be tiling the whole floor, and then the standalone bath's going to be sat on top of that. So if we just bring that up, just be a case of poking out the floor like that. I'll trim it down to probably where my thumb is, get that glued in, and then that's that done. We can leave it then for the tiler to board the floors, screwed down nice and solid, and then they'll completely tile the floor, completely tile the walls. But what I am going to do is say about on an access panel for that system, just in case there's ever an issue. So let's have a little tidy up, get this done, see what's next. Right, it's Friday morning, we're back on this house extension. I just quickly swung in today because we've got to get some pipe work in for the downstairs cloakroom. We've got to drill an 1.25 inch waste through there to come along to pick up on the saw stack, and then obviously we've got the toilet going in here. Got to bring the hot and colds into here, poke them out, take a cold over for the toilet. We've got to get all that in, and then they can board it and skim it and do what they need to do there. Also connect onto that 22mm, onto this copper. It's coming through, and we're going to replace the original incoming main on this house was 15mm. God knows how it fed everything that was here, but we're going to replace it with 22mm. We're going to come off the main with an adapter. I think it's coming in there, blue poly, so we're going to come off that 22mm into the stop tap, and then onto that, and that'll be off to feed the house. But first of all, I've cracked open the Iban stock drill. If you haven't got one of these or use on these are amazing. So we've got the drill set up ready. Let's chuck a hole through there. Chuck a 15mm pipe through there as well for the toilet.
Plan of action.
Yeah.
What's your plan of action Monday?
What do you want to concentrate on?
I've got plasterers in.
Right.
Doing the Gary ceiling.
Yeah.
So that way you can get in there Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, if we get the rads or whatever.
I was going to say, if you want to go and get
rads up
and get them on.
Yeah. So
I'm
here all of next week I'm here unless I've got to shoot off to do any bits.
So
we get the cylinder connected, that can all go in.
Yeah. I mean, if he gets this plastered Monday as well, there's nothing stopping you putting zinc in.
Yeah. But what about the floor and?
Yeah, but that's
floating, isn't it? It's floating, yeah. No worries. Perfect, exactly where I wanted it. So we've got that through now. We can run the waste through there, come along here. Then when we put the 4-inch in and the branch ready for the toilet, we can boss that into the top. So we get a hole now through for the cold for the toilet, and then we can just set where the pipes are coming through the basin and get this ready as well. So with the 1.5 inch hole drilled through now, I've just sent a little pilot bit through. We're going to send the 15mm drill bit through, and then we'll send the 25mm through. Then what we can do is put a bit of 22mm through there, sleeve the 15mm that's going to come through there, through this pillar, and then we can go up and feed the system for it. 22mm one through now, or 25mm should I say. Right, we get the pipework in for this basin now. So I've done the heart, brought that up, cold, I've tucked down the back, put a little Talon joist clip on there, worked perfectly for that. What I'm going to do here is pop an elbow there, bit of pipe in, T on the top there to pick up that cold that we're sending through there, through the sleeve, through that pillar to feed the cistern, and then we can come off here, bring it out for the cold pipe. Then we can send the waste pipe through there, bring it out. We're having a floating unit on here, so them pipes are going to be within that unit, and then we can move on to the cistern and toilet. So with the basin pipework set, we've now got the cistern on, connected up. It's going to have a removable cover on the top, so we'll be able to reach down, sort what we need to in the cistern, and then also to that isolation valve as well. What we've got to do now is bring the saw pipe up. The builder said that they had some fittings. Because on this job they're supplying everything, all the fittings wise, he said use up what you can. Obviously we can't use that because it throws the outlet up over the 7 inches or 6 inches what we'd need to get a fall on it for the toilet. So I've picked up a branch, I've just took the back edge off that branch, and what we'll do, we'll get that set in there, then we'll put a bit of pipe into there, flexible pan connector coming out because we want to be able to move the pan back and forth, bit of pipe work, couple off there, strap boss onto it, up with a durga on the top, and then that's ready for that to be boarded and that to be boarded. But first off, let's get this branch put into position. Right, that's that branch in. It is quite low there, but what I'm going to do is come out with that flexi pan connector, so we'll cut a little bit of pipe to that length and get that in. Right, there we go. Got that Johnny Flex connected in now. Pull that out. That's where it's got to go. A lot of people aren't fans of them. I think they're a great product. So with that, you can have enough movement on the pan to slide it in and out as you need. So that'll sit there underneath where the flush pipe is. What we'll do now, get a bit of pipe on here, get a strap boss on there, and connect the 1¼ inch into it. So if I just pop that through there, like so, and we'll just clean the burr off it a little bit. Then what we're going to do is just put a load of glue around there, a load of solvent cement around there, put that on, and then it clips together at the back. Make sure the top is at the top as well, because it's got a slight little angle on it, and if you have it the other way, it won't make a huge difference, but it's just good to have it fitted as it should be. So we'll put a load of glue on there, like so, and then what I always do is put some around the actual opening that you've just made, like so. More the merrier, don't be shy. And then that'll clip, and that'll clip into place like so. And then all you've got to do is just push them together at the back, and it locks on. And what I'm going to try and do is get my grips down into there. That's it. Get it as tight as you can, and then as the glue sets, it'll all seal around there. Yeah, just make sure, where's my light? Make sure that's clipped on the back, and then we can get the bung in there and get the 1¼ inch in. There we go, waste in. I've just got to shoot to the van now, grab a coupler for there, and then that's that done. We get the boarded, get the stud work on, and then that can get replastered, tiled, or however they're going to finish it. I'm not 100% sure, but we've got one last job left to do before we go home tonight, and it is popping that coupler on this pipe, connect that copper pipe in and that is onto the main that's going to supply the whole building. So we'll get that done and then we'll shoot off because we've got a podcast to go and record for Trade Legends. So I hope you've enjoyed it. We're cracking on now with this build. It's not going to be long before we start getting the boiler in, cylinder in, bathrooms in. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop me a comment below, and I'll catch you on the next one.